Hi everyone and welcome to Aaron Outdoors. And on today's episode we're going to look back at the 2013 modern gun deer season that we had here in Russell County. And guys, it was an exciting time for all of us involved. We were able to get out into the woods finally, get up into the tree. We had some success early season with the bow, but gun season's a much more exciting time.
Yeah, Derek, it starts the rut, and that's a good time to be in the deer woods. See a lot of mature deer on their feet usually. I was able to harvest a buck with my gun this year, and Dad had a nice encounter. But Dad, what?
I saw a pretty nice buck on the first day, early. Of course, had a full week of vacation coming up, and I saw a 10-point buck, which was it was not a massive buck, but it was a nice deer, and I elected to let him walk. I was trying to get a little footage of him, and he ended up not doing what I thought he would do, and he didn't hang around very long. But I didn't get him. I hunted for him the rest of the week and didn't actually see him, but saw a couple more smaller bucks. But I had my eye set on him. I didn't fill my tag this time in the gun season, so there's still late bow hunting to go, and hopefully maybe be able to see him at the then.
How soon after you passed on him did you start regretting not taking that deer?
About 5 minutes after he went out of sight.
That happens all too often, it seems, guys. You see one early in the season, pass on it, and that may be the best chance you've got to get one all year long, Blake.
Yeah, Derek, I agree with you there. Like you said, sometimes early in the season is the best chance you're going to have at getting a mature buck on the ground, and I know that Dad came home kicking himself about that one, and sometimes if you don't take that buck early on in the season, you're kicking yourself all year, and it just goes to show you, if you see a big buck early on in the season, don't be afraid to take him.
Brett, you did have some success, though, but it took quite a while. I know you took some time off from work, hunted a lot of long hours, but in the end, finally was able to harvest a deer, which we'll take a look at a little bit later on. But talk about that real quick.
Yeah, Derek, I was fortunate to be able to take my 2-week vacation and get out in the woods. I bow hunted for a week, and then rifle season opened, and I was able to hunt with my rifle for a week, and I did harvest a buck toward the end of the week there, but we'll take a look at that later.
Blake, you had a chance to sit down and talk with Sheldon Stevens, a good friend of ours here at Aaron Outdoors for many years. He was able to harvest a nice deer. Talk about sitting down and talking with Sheldon and the deer that he was able to get.
Well, Derek, me and Sheldon sat down. We had a great talk together. That buck ended up scoring about 152 inches Pope and Young. He took it with his bow. But Sheldon, always been a great guy. Fun to be around, fun to talk about hunting with. He knows his stuff. And so right now we're going to take a look at Sheldon Stevens' Big Buck Profile. I'm here with this episode's Big Buck Profile. Good friend, Sheldon Stevens. Sheldon, thanks for coming on the show today. Right now we're going to talk a little bit about that buck you killed earlier this season. Grossed about 151 inches Pope and Young. I know that's a big trophy to have, Sheldon. Talk a little bit about that deer, please.
Yeah, really tickled with the deer. Of course, I'd seen the deer early on. Actually, it was about the first deer that I had a picture of.
Which is strange. Big bucks like that normally they stay away from the camera.
Yeah. Well, usually, a lot of times they get some pretty good pictures early on. In midsummer or something, and then just doesn't take them just 2 or 3 weeks, and then they vanish.
Yep.
And it's all a nighttime picture and everything. But the first picture I had of him was about noon, early August.
Well, that's one of the big things that we hunters like to do is get out early, get stuff out early, and early season where you can pattern these deer, early summer, mid-August, things like that, September. You had the opportunity to shoot this deer in the evening, I believe. Talk a little bit about your hunt.
Well, the hunt, I think it was November the 5th, and I just really love hunting the last few days of October through the first week of November. I just really love bow hunting because, of course, the deer in the chase phase and everything, and you get to see a lot of activity and everything. So I had that day picked on my calendar to go. The weather was good, the wind direction was right for my stand, and I hadn't had a chance to hunt a whole lot this year, so I was really itching to get out into it and everything.
I can bet.
And that day I didn't realize on my calendar, of course, the time had already changed, set back, and it was getting dark earlier in the day. I was going to be on that stand no later than 2 o'clock that day. And I happened to look at my schedule at work, and I had a 2 o'clock appointment that day.
Yeah.
So
Well, I can imagine what was going through your mind at that time.
yeah, I was tough. So I got everything together, you know, before the hunt, and got all my scent-free stuff going and everything. And then I went and had my appointment, and I literally ran home and jumped into everything and got there. And I was getting to the stand. It was about 2:45 when I got there, and I was slipping up on the stand. I really try to take care of my stands and not to spook anything. I know you hate to spook deer.
Yeah, that's one of the worst feelings you can have as a hunter, spooking deer going in. But it happens to all of us, and it happened to you in this point.
Yeah. Like I say, I planned to be at the stand at 2 o'clock, and I got there at about 2:45, and that buck was standing under my stand.
I would have been sick. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I managed to walk. I walked probably within 15 yards of me, crested a little hill of him, and he hadn't winded me or seen me anything. So there we were face to face, and he ran off, and my heart sunk. I thought, man, this was the end of my day, huh? But I actually almost came back home after that. But I thought, well, it's a beautiful day, so I went ahead and climbed up in the stand and just thought I'd sit there and wait and see what I saw, you know. And sure enough, it was right at dark when it came back in, and I was actually trying to get my string from my stand there to lower my bow, and it had kind of hung on the tree, so I normally probably already would have been out of the stand, but by the time I got it untangled, and then I heard some noise behind me and everything, and I see a lot of coyotes from that stand, and I thought it was just a bunch of coyotes coming through because it was making a lot of noise and everything. And as I sat there, all of a sudden there was 3 or 4 does that came, jumped across the fence, run under me, and that buck was chasing those does again.
Yeah, well, I mean, that just goes to show you whenever those bucks start chasing does, they don't care where it is, what time it is, what's going on. They're going to be chasing them does.
The rut is the great equalizer.
Yeah, it is.
Like I say, bumped him out 2 or 3 hours earlier, and he came back chasing does.
Well, a lot of times deer do that, and you had the chance to shoot him, and you wasn't sure about the shot, right? So you came back the next morning.
Yeah, like I say, it was very late in the evening, and I had enough light that I could see to shoot him. But I didn't have any lights on my nock.
Yeah.
I couldn't see exactly where the arrow hit him, so instead of bumping him and getting into a big trailing episode, I just let him lay down that night, and turns out it was a good shot. I mean, it was almost perfect shot, and the deer didn't go over 50 or 60 yards from where I shot him.
Yep. Well, the funny thing about that is I bet you didn't get much sleep that night.
Well, I do this quite a bit. I knew it wasn't going to be the end of the world one way or the other.
Well, I can imagine. That was a great deer, Sheldon. We appreciate your time. Look forward to having you on the show a lot more here soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, Sheldon Stevens with the bucket episode, big bucket episode.
Okay, Blake, it looked like you had a good interview with Sheldon and had a good time. He took a nice deer for the wall. Looks like he'll be going to the taxidermist again this year.
Yeah, definitely.
Brett, you was able to get up into the tree and finally harvest a deer late in modern gun season. Kind of lead us into your hunt, and it was by yourself, a tricky thing to do.
Yeah, Derek. I was able to harvest a buck on November the 15th. It was the last Friday of my vacation there, and it was a great hunt. Let's take a look at that.
Day 10. It's day 11. Day 12. Day 13, November 15th. It's about 38 degrees this morning. It's pretty cool, real still. I scared something off coming into the stand this morning. Pretty sure there's at least one deer. So that's not a good way to start your morning hunt, but it can't be helped. I mean, you gotta get into your stand. So it's not the way you want to start it. I'm a little disgusted already, but maybe things will turn around for us. We took the day off yesterday. Been hunting for 12 days straight, and I was just wore out. Morale was down. Hadn't seen any deer, so took a day off, got a little rest, come back at it with a better attitude. So hopefully it'll pay off for us. It's still prime time for these big boys to be chasing, get up on their feet, so all it takes is one hot doe to come through. We just gotta find that one hot doe. We're set up here where we've been having the majority of our trail cameras, pictures of deer, of bugs. So, should be in a good spot. I just hope it wasn't a good one we spooked off coming in this morning. But we'll just have to stick with it and wait it out and see. Hopefully we can get one on the ground for you. This is day number 13, so unlucky number 13. Maybe it'll be lucky for us. just fired on one. I'm pretty sure I hit him. He did that little mule jump kick thing. I'm not sure where I hit him, but I'm pretty sure I hit him pretty good. He run off. He wasn't in a hurry. He was hurting pretty good. So let's see what time it is. It's 5 after 6 or 5 after 8. So I don't know. That happened quick. I just looked up and here he come. I'm pretty sure that was the same buck we had up here this morning. That was after those does. I don't know. Man, I hope we got him down. I feel pretty good about that shot. It's been a good morning. I seen another 8-pointer come right up to right where he was at, and I didn't shoot at him. Thought about it. It was a deer Blake, and tried to get with his bow earlier this year, and but he looked to be all right, so I passed up on him. He's just a little smaller than that deer. We'll climb down here in a minute and check it out. Hope we got a good blood trail, because I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. So stick with us. We'll get down here and go see here in just a minute.
Well, Brett, looks like you got a shot in on that deer. Kind of go through what was going through your mind whenever you took the shot and you were filming at the same time.
Well, Derek, I seen the deer come out of the thicket there in front of me, and I knew I had to make a quick decision because I had to swing the camera around, get the camera on the deer, then make sure the deer was going to be in frame when I was able to get my rifle up and squeeze the shot off. There's a lot of things going through my mind, so I had to make a pretty quick decision on whether I was going to shoot the deer or not. I'd seen the deer earlier that morning. He was chasing some does, and he kind of didn't really give me any good opportunities to shoot at him then, and it was just a good hunt all around. Got my blood flowing there a little bit, and I was proud to be able to harvest that deer.
It was a great thing to see, and then especially when you're doing it solo, in the tree by yourself, no cameraman, you're doing it all. You get the shot in on the deer, and you hear the deer crash, and now it's the time to recover that animal.
Yeah.
Another thing, he had some interaction with the deer prior to that earlier in the morning, where the deer didn't want to come to his location. It was looking for some does. There were some does over the hill there, and it was going to them, and he got to interact with it and grunt and get that buck's attention to come back, and actually probably could have taken a shot at that point, but elected not to, I think. And then later on, the deer came back, and there was a lot of interaction there, I think, between him and the deer there to begin with, to show that these deer will react to these calls, and something that is fun to experiment with.
Yeah, I think that the relationship that you made with the deer early in the hunt, you know, him going over the hill and you coming back, I think that's just something that makes it more special. And it's something funny, if you listen really close on Brett's hunt, you can hear him talking to himself. Though it is self-filmed, sometimes when you're up in the stand, you do talk to yourself, and I just think that's kind of funny. We all do it as hunters.
Yeah, I really had to get on the grunt call after this deer. He was headed over the hill to those does there early in the hunt, and he didn't hear me. And so I snort wheezed at him, and man, he stopped right in his tracks and turned around and looked, and he's fuzzed up there. He is looking for a fight. And I tell you what, it got my blood going. And that's probably the reason I pulled the trigger on him later on that morning.
Well, it was kind of lucky for you that the deer did come back. A lot of times if you see one and it goes off, that was your opportunity. This deer comes back out, presents you a second chance. You take advantage of that, make a good shot, and now it's time to recover that animal.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
Wait to get my hands on him here. Well guys, here he is. It's November 15th, 13th day I've been out hunting here in my 2-week vacation. Finally got a buck on the ground. He's a little bit smaller than what I thought he was on foot. He's broke his 2 brow tines off. A little disappointed in that, but he's a great deer. Had a great morning hunt. I seen this buck earlier running some does. Couldn't get him within range and stop and get the camera on him. I was doing a self-film job here today. But man, we've had a great hunt. Had a great 2013 whitetail season, and we're gonna get this big boy cleaned up and get him out of here.
Well, Brett, I know you were finally excited to get one on the ground. 13th day of hunting in a row for you. Had to be a tiring experience.
Yeah, Derek, I really was. I was wore out, but fortunate to be able to get a deer on the ground. Just had a good 2 weeks off hunting, and proud to get that deer self-filmed on the ground.
Well, yeah, I sent Brett a text whenever I woke up, and I didn't go with him. I stayed in the
He's
bed.
being lazy.
Yeah, but I texted him, didn't get a reply back, and it was about 10:30, and I was like, oh well, he's just mad, and he's just not going to say anything to me. And he comes in, he's got a deer in the bed of the truck, so that was a relief, not only on him but on me as well. I was getting tired of Brett working hard, and he was kind of getting frustrated. So I'm glad he finally got a deer.
Well, next time we'll have some more outdoor experiences. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Aaron Outdoors, and we'll see you next time.
I'm gonna slip me on some toe warmers down into my boots. My feet are numb. Lifesaver.
One thing we'll take a look. Sorry. I got choked.
I can
That's
do
all
it.
right. That blinking
Crush your hand. You're doing this.
Well, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do?
Cross your hands. I told you to. Cross your hands. You're doing it. You are. You tap.
Is that all right?